Imagine meeting 5 girls in one day who all confess their love for you. And not only that, they'll live with you too. This is exactly what happens to our protagonist. Although it seems like a typical anime, stick around until the end because there's a surprise waiting for you. We start the story with Asagi, who while flipping through channels sees a TV program telling him it's his lucky day. The words of luck it gives are corner, train, stairs, cleaning robot, dog and letter. After this he heads off to school and at a corner he trips over a girl named Hoi. They have a strange encounter and Hoi leaves in a hurry. At that moment, Asagi realizes she left something behind, so he picks it up to return it the next time he sees her. Next, on a strangely empty train he meets a girl named Monfa and accidentally touches her but, nearly getting hit by her. Then on the stairs he has another encounter with a girl named Kareem, and well, Asagi stands in front of her, causing Karen to punch him and leave. Although it was all a misunderstanding, it was actually a banana Asagi had in his pocket. Then he comes across a cleaning robot carrying some clothes. Just at that moment, a girl named Amelia arrives and mistakenly thinks Asagi is a clothes thief since he's holding her laundry in his hand. But the robot starts pulling her away, so Asagi takes advantage of the situation and escapes. Now he meets a dog and encounters a boy who looks like a girl named Ilya, who is in a weird situation involving another dog that obviously I can't show you. Asagi decides to ignore it, but unfortunately ends up in the same situation. After all this he finally arrives at school late and meets his friend named Yosho. To his surprise he realizes all the girls from earlier are in his class and one of them is even his teacher. Anagi nervously tries to hide, but his teacher notices he arrived late and tells him to look at her. In that moment they realize he is the boy from before and end up hitting him. Afterward, Yoshu is happy since they now have 4 new students and a new teacher. When Sagi hears about everything that happened he feels jealous. Now Sagi sees that someone left a letter in his locker. It seems a girl wants to meet him, but Asaki decides to ignore it. On his way to lunch he runs into Aobi and Asagi wants to return what fell earlier, but ends up pulling out Amelia's clothes and Hoi thinks he's a pervert, so she slaps him. Then he meets Kareem and finds out lunch is sold out, so the protagonist offers her his banana. Seeing the banana, Kareem realizes the earlier confusion was due to the banana, leading to a misunderstanding and thanks him for it. Now he encounters Ilya, who is being chased by the dogs from before, and Asagi ends up having another traumatic experience for himself. Next, he meets Professor Monfa and since he was bitten by the dog, she takes him to the nurse's office to treat him. There he meets Amelia and clears up the earlier misunderstanding, returning her clothes. Afterward he remembers the letter so he goes to the place mentioned and when he arrives he meets Aoi. Aoi wants to return what she dropped earlier, but at that moment she confesses her feelings, saying she loves him. Suddenly the wind blows strongly, giving Asagi a great view, allowing him to see everything. He realizes what Asagi thought was her handkerchief was actually her underwear. This makes him think she likes being naked down there, but she says she didn't mean that and runs away embarrassed. After this, Sagi meets Ilya again and she also says she loves him. Suddenly, Monfa appears and drags him into an alley because some men are chasing her. To hide, she kisses him and tells him he should do this with someone he loves so she confesses she loves and is in love with him. Blushing, Asagi ends up fleeing and then meets Kareem wearing a wedding dress, wanting to marry him. We learn she is a top model and instead of taking him to church, she directly brings him to a hotel, but Asagi tricks her and escapes. Now he meets a girl asking for his autograph and realizes just in time it's a marriage form and sees that it's actually Amelia. Finally he reaches home thinking he can now relax, but to his surprise, all 5 girls are already there. He hears a message from his father explaining they are his potential wives and will now live together. Obviously, Asagi refuses and wants to kick them out, saying there aren't enough rooms for everyone, but surprisingly new rooms have appeared, so he eventually accepts. After dinner, Asagi wants to take a bath and Kareem wants to accompany him, so Asagi pushes her out, but Amelia is already in the bathtub waiting for him to see everything. Frustrated, he heads to his room hoping to rest now, but finds the professor on the roof. Very angry he tells them to leave his house, but they have nowhere else to go so if they don't leave he will, ending up going to a temple. There he meets Hoi who apologizes and explains that even before meeting him and just knowing his name, she was very anxious to meet him, which is why the others approached him. She asks him to come back. Feeling guilty, Yasagi agrees they can stay but under the condition they stop acting foolishly. Afterward, we see Asagi waking up in an unusual way, but it's not what you're thinking. Amelia sneaked into his bed because she wanted his fingerprints for the marriage document. Now we learn that day after day similar things happen with the girls except for Hoi. During breakfast we see Amelia struggling with kanji characters and similarly performs poorly in class. Asagi realizing this proposes to help her, so they go to the library and after some time, we see Amelia wanting to keep studying. But Asagi tells her it's good to work hard but warns against overdoing it, making her angry as she believes hard work without results is pointless, like doing nothing. Sad, she says she wants to be able to use Asagi's language. Later, Asagi tries talking to her and she calls herself stupid, not him. Then Asagi tells her he appreciates her efforts and it isn't useless. He also says her desire to master his language makes him very happy. Just then, Amelia also has a strange memory with Asagi, and our protagonist gives her a keychain with kanji characters so Amelia can improve, making her extremely happy. After this, we see Amelia achieving better results in her next kanji exam. Now we see Ilya who turns out to be a girl, but pretends to be a boy as her father wished. This will be explored more later. Continuing, we see Elon Monf and Hoi encountering a booth on the street where they can win a trip for 2 to hot springs, so they decide to try it and coincidentally win the grand prize. Thus they all go together. The manager asks how to organize the rooms, so Sagi suggests dividing them into boys and girls, meaning he'll share a room only with Ilya. After eating, it's time to try the hot springs, so Asagi removes all his clothes in front of Ilya, thinking she is a boy, and Ilya doesn't know how to trick him, so she uses a mask with a big nose and covers her front with a towel, claiming she is very hairy, making Asagi shocked thinking Ilya has a huge member below. After a while, Ilya's towel flies away and just as Asagi was about to exit, Ilya panics, puts on the mask and pretends to be a legendary Japanese character. Scared, Asagi slips and hits his head. When he wakes up, Asagi knows everything and apologizes, and she tells him the reason for pretending to be a boy was because it was her father's last wish. He always wanted a son, hence also changing her name, originally Irina. Upon hearing this, Asagi asks what she wants to be and she tearfully replies she wants to live as a girl. Asagi supports her. We see Irina also has a memory with him. After this, when preparing for school, we see Ilya wearing girl clothes, surprising everyone. She reintroduces herself with her true name Darina. Once at school, her friend is surprised Ilya is a girl and just as the teacher arrives she fixes Sagi's tie, making his friend very jealous. Afterward, Ashji is kidnapped by a man seeking revenge against Monfa. We learn she used to eliminate organizations and this man sought revenge. However, Monfa tells Sagi she realized what she did was wrong and became a teacher, valuing the time spent together and asking Asagi to flee. But seeing Asagi returns and says he cannot leave since she is a valued family member, Monfa also sees a memory with Asagi. Together they defeat the man and fall asleep in an awkward position that surprises the others. When Asagi was at school, suddenly strange robots appear wanting to remove every male's little friend. Fortunately, the professor saves Asagi, but unfortunately Yoshi gets fitted with this strange device, which explodes, removing his friend. Asagi realizes Kareem is missing, so he searches for her and discovers her transforming into a magical girl, which surprises him. We meet a magical creature named Zot. We see Karen launching an incredible attack on the big robot, but unfortunately, it has no effect. Karen explains how she obtained these powers. One day while taking photos, Zot fell from the sky and offered her to become a magical girl. Thinking it would be fun, Kareem accepted. Returning to the robots, he reveals they are monsters from his world that destroyed all the balls in their world. Now, Asagi's world is in danger, but he says there's a way to defeat them by gathering power, requiring Asagi and Kareem to unite to raise a meter. Obviously, Asagi refuses but Kareem really wants to do it with him. Asagi insists she must do it with someone she truly loves and is special to him, saying all are special to him. Hearing this, Karen's heart races, raising the meter, enabling them to gain power and defeat all the robots. Karen thanks Sagi for his help and seeing him smile she also has a memory with him. Now they go to the beach, although it seems like a typical beach episode, suddenly all the girls disappear, so Asagi searches for them but only meets Aoi who hadn't gone with them. Ashi informs her the others disappeared, but Hoi doesn't know who he refers to and Asagi forgets everything. Thus, after dinner together, Aoi takes Sagi to a beautiful cherry blossom tree and confesses her love, saying she only looks at him. Then Kasagi remembers the other girls and Hoi reveals herself to be another person named A childhood friend of Asagi. Suddenly messages from Roller appear everywhere, and we see her disappearing into a strange portal. The next day Sagi wakes up and heads to school. But to his surprise he doesn't recognize anyone and no one knows about the girls. Someone recognizes him and it turns out to be Yasuo, his friend now known as Yoshino. She explains his memories seem disordered, so she takes him to a lab at a company called Cavan, starting brainwave checks on ACI. Everything seems fine, but Asagi is impatient, as Yoshi didn't mention seeing the girls. So Yoshino doesn't say his full name, hoping Asagi remembers everything. But he recalls nothing, so Yoshino reveals he participated in a project chosen randomly, living previously with the girls in a simulation. He was living in a virtual world and the girls were artificial intelligences. Obviously, Ashi thinks she's joking, but Yoshino explains chairs have become fundamental to modern society, but they couldn't develop human emotions, so they worked to achieve this by creating an experiment where IAs interacted with humans. Asagi participated in the romantic feelings experiment, aiming for IAs to fall in love, needing the subject to like them. Thus, researchers worldwide developed IAs romantically attractive. The result was the 5 girls he lived with. Yoshi monitored him as Yoshino. That's why initially the girls acted that way, not understanding love. But spending time with Asagi gradually made them feel it, producing excellent experiment results until the day they went to the beach. Something occurred, access to that world was cut, forcing Asagi out of that world. Our protege refuses to accept it, so he meets Yoshino's friend, learning her boss fired her for continuing the experiment, though it doesn't seem to bother her. Afterward they continue talking. Though Asagi looks bad, Kayasino explains until a few years ago, IAs required deep learning and improving this needed copying human brain data, impossible until 3 years ago when a doctor created an AI with artificial consciousness, giving rise to all current IAs. The doctor's name belonged to his sweet, cheerful daughter, who suddenly fell ill. The doctor started working on his research, creating an IA by copying his daughter's brain data before she died from her illness. This doctor's daughter was also Asagi's childhood friend. That's why Asagi entered that experiment trying to forget his friend. Remembering everything, he visits AI's grave confirming the truth, then starts crying. Returning to Yoshino, she thinks about what might have happened in the virtual world when suddenly the entire IA system shuts down, briefly showing Hoi. The next day, Yoshi doesn't visit Sagi and asks him to re-enter the virtual world. Obviously, Asagi refuses, but Yoshio explains all the girls are based on maternal IAs and Hoi was created first, making her most similar to AI. Yoshino believes passing time with him awakened A's consciousness within AI, causing conflict and interrupting the IA network due to Aoi. Cavendish Company has a satellite storing IA data, but conflict took control, preventing data access. While everything works fine now, interruptions may recur, and the only one who can enter is Asagi. Additionally, they received a satellite message saying, "I want to see you," clearly directed at Sagi. Suddenly, Asagi's rabbit alarm clock goes crazy, projecting the girls who managed to escape the interruption, asking Saki to restore normality. Then, the network suffers another interruption, revealing Cavan sent a program to erase all satellite data, including all the girls. Ultimately, Asagi decides to return to the virtual world to stop this, visiting A's father's house where Yoshi wasn't watching over and using his lab for Sagi to enter the virtual world, joining Yoshio into the virtual world, meeting the girls though attacked by guards transformed into deletion programs. Yoshio changes shape revealing himself as ZOD, delighting everyone seeing him again. They discuss the current situation, mentioning Aoi awakening in Aoi and Aoi wanting to see Sagi, but AI doesn't want to see him, causing the conflict. To resolve it, Ashi must go see them. Amelia indicates where Hoi is but heavily guarded, so they'll sneak in via a secret path encountering guards actually deletion programs. All use their powers beginning a battle. But trapped and exhausted from that world, we see everyone fighting including Sagi, declaring it doesn't matter whether one is an IA or human, managing to reach the next door. Colonel Sanders appears, but this time Monfa gives him a serious beating. When they attempt to open the door, more guards and devouring robots arrive, realizing they can't close it from the other side nor return, so Monfa decides to stay and fight with them. Asagi refuses, but Monfa thanks him, recalling her memory with him, realizing she was an AI but also discovering love. With a kiss, Monfa pushes him and closes the door, sacrificing herself for the others. Now we see Yoshino unable to enter the world, bringing her friend for help, learning Monfa has been erased, but now they have a plan. Returning to Asagi, everyone mourns Monfa but must keep advancing, encountering many infected robots. This time Irina and Kareem fight them while Az and Amelia advance until reaching the final door. But Amelia says she can't go with him. Asagi insists they promise to go together. Also, Irina and Kareem remain behind. Camellia plays them a message from them. Karen tells him to value himself as he told her and treasure life in the real world, saying goodbye as we see her die. Meanwhile, Irina thanks him for telling her to live as she wishes and he should live his way too, saying goodbye as we see her dying too. This makes Sagi cry, and Amelia thanks him for everything, urging him to live in his own world and be happy, fulfilling everyone's wish, kissing him and letting him fall while staying with the robots. Finally, Ashi meets Ao, who apologizes for everything. Isaki asks where AI is, wanting to see her. We see AI's memories discussing studying high school together, needing Asagi to study hard to pass exams. Later, Asagi gives her a necklace she wanted, marking the start of her symptoms, leading to fainting in front of her father, hospitalizing her with a diagnosis of advanced illness, leaving little time. Asagi visited frequently, unaware of limited time, feeling worse each visit until she told Sage not to visit anymore, saving his time for exams. We see her worsening condition, and while watching a video of Ashi, she unfortunately passes away. Watching these memories, Asagi cries and Hoi apologizes for everything, showing a door leading to Konai. Before AI thanks him for everything, finally, Asagi reunites with his friend. Meeting AI, she tells him to forget her so he can move forward with his life. But Sagi says it's impossible, having shared many experiences since childhood, confessing he always loved her. Hearing this, she also confesses she loved him. Yasagi apologizes for not saying sooner, believing if he hadn't made that mistake, they could have spent more time together before her death. She also apologizes for not telling the truth, wanting to do more things and be together till the end. Then they share a kiss. Now we see her beginning to vanish, handing him the necklace he gave her, thanking him as her dream finally came true. After this, we see the satellite with data destroyed. Years later, we see Asagi entering university, visiting AI's grave. Additionally, we see Yoshino sending 4 boxes from which the 4 girls emerge, given physical bodies. Hoi also arrives, preferring to walk, once again living together. So here ends this summary. Don't forget, if you liked the video, you can subscribe and give a big like.